Welcome back to Infamously Speaking. Today on this show, we react to Indiana's huge Game 6 win to force Game 7 on Sunday. But before we jump into that, a couple of things. First and foremost, if you're not already subscribed to the Infamously Speaking YouTube channel, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification button so you are the first to know whenever we drop some new content. Second, Infamously Speaking merch is live and available. Link is in the description, so go and get yours. You're going to be like, Matt, how come you're not wearing any Infamously Speaking merch today? Well, number one, I got this fire t-shirt on. I got to shout out our guy, Kareem Brown.
Wow.
Got a t-shirt from him in the mail. Also got a fire hoodie. It's a little too warm for that. But shout out to our guy, Kareem. Runs an awesome skills academy. So if you have anyone in the southeastern Connecticut area, if you have kids that want to play basketball or are playing basketball and want to continue to grow their skill set, Kareem is an awesome person to work with. He hosts multiple showcases a year for kids in the southeastern Connecticut area and beyond to be able to show their talents off and continue to grow in the game of basketball.
I'll say, if you don't want to see Kareem, just invite him to join you on the podcast. You won't see him for some time. But shout out to my guy, man. I love Kareem. Yo, shout out to Fanatics. See, Smoking the King's Blood by Kenny. He's dropping a 10-count box soon. The box is fire, bro. The passion that he put in for that box, it displays. I'll send you the link because he just showed like a little clip of it today. But that box is super tough, man. I can't wait to I can purchase it. But you can get these 5-count boxes at Fanatics, and I'm sure Matt will put that in the description as well. He got that right. Hats. He got the hat on. Matt's rocking the hat. Man, show love. Show love to your small businesses and those in your communities, man. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I see he got a red colorway coming out. I'm not sure if you've seen that. I seen the post. The red colorway.
Yeah.
That's heat. I'm definitely gonna have to cop one of those, man. The yellow is tough too. I was struggling when I had to pick between the yellow and the blue.
I'll get you the yellow. As soon as the Pacers win this whole shit, I'm gonna get you the yellow one.
This kind of little OKC blue, actually.
Yeah.
This guy is good. He knows what he's doing. So let's jump into the game. Obviously, Indiana absolutely dominated from, I don't know, like, I think you sent me a text, like 8 minutes they scored their first basket, but from when they scored their first basket on. So I'll let you kick it off. You said Indiana 7.
Indiana 7, baby. I'm one game away from the prediction. Yo, if I imagine that I won that, I think it was like plus 1,000 or more for that.
Shit is incredible, bro.
Man, I should have put some money up. But anyways, yeah, man. I think honestly, and I hate to refer to these people because this is infamously speaking, but Stephen A said it best. OKC's playing like they got a game 7. Indiana's playing like it's the last chance, which it was, right? From the jump, it was a little sketchy because they weren't making shots. That's why I text you as a reminder. 8 minutes in the game, they finally made their first field goal by Siakam. And then Siakam came back down and made another field goal, got the and one. What I also like to see was shooting. He was, even though he was missing at first, it was good to see him aggressive. Yes. And they need that because it opens up the floor.
Absolutely.
Nimhard, he was balling. He had 8 points real quick. He had the 2 threes in the corner and had a little 2-pointer. I didn't understand why Carlisle took him out like shortly after that, but put him back in like 2 minutes later. But that's a whole other thing. Anyways, back to Indiana. Indiana was playing like they had nothing to lose, and they left it out there. Hopefully they can carry that to Oklahoma for Game 7, even if they don't win, because I definitely don't want to see a game like this for Game 7 if it goes either way. Okay,
this was the only game. This is the only game this entire series where there's like, this shit was bad.
Yeah,
because even games OKC won where they were up big, Indy still managed. Like even last game, right? Indy managed to cut it to 2 before OKC kind of ran away with it.
And then it blew. Yeah, then he opened it up. I got you. OKC's defense wasn't like what we're used to seeing. It wasn't as aggressive, I felt. Again, it looked like they was playing like, all right, we'll settle business at home, which is not the mentality, man. Yeah, you don't want that mentality.
That was my biggest problem. So I think you hit on all the, obviously the Indiana came out with intent and with purpose. And their crowd was behind them, and they were lit all game. They were
Yeah.
there all game. I think one thing too, Indiana did really well, which I kind of noticed early in the game, was because obviously I watched Indiana, especially against the Knicks. They weren't picking people up full court. I don't think they did it once all game. And if they did, it wasn't as they weren't as up in your face. You know what I mean?
They did because I
It
was
was
watching.
much.
It wasn't
was
as
much-
much. And what happened was because I seen a couple times with Dort on Halliburton, so he would get it and he would just pass it to Nimhard and he just
No,
bring it up the court.
I'm talking about Indy. Because you know how Indy Indy is big on. They did that to the Knicks. They've been doing it to the Thunder all series. That's how McConnell's got a lot of those steals on the inbound because they're right there.
Yeah,
he had another one. It wasn't off the inbound, but it was off the advanced pass. He got a steal in the backcourt. But and now what I thought that did, especially for players like Nimhard, because he'd been guarding SGA mainly. He'd been a primary defender. I think that's why he looks so fresh offensively, because he's not trying to pick up SGA. Feet. So he's able to be way more active offensively because he's not trying to catch his breath at all.
That goes back to coaching. It goes back
Carlisle,
to coaching.
Man. Carlisle
we talked about it.
He's been great.
I'm disappointed in you thinking that it was going to close out in Game 6. That means Indiana would have had to lose 3 games in a row, bro. And at home.
I don't care about that. You know why I don't care about that? Because these playoffs, and I said it before, these playoffs, like every game I watch, son, I'm like, yeah, okay, I kind of know what's going on. And then I watch the next game, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, bro. I'm like, someone take a mic away from me. Because everybody was like, oh, Indiana hasn't lost back-to-back. But I felt like OKC hadn't played a game like they did in Game 5 all series long. And then they played that game. The defensive intensity was incredible. And then you come to this game, and you're like, I'm not mad that Oklahoma City lost. Even if they would have gotten blown out, fine. But it's the way that they lost. They just looked disengaged. They didn't take the punch Indiana through. And that was what was disappointing. They were up 10-2. They felt a little good. And then Indiana was like, all right, cool. And they punched back. And Oklahoma City was kind of like, all right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say nervous. But at the end of the half, it was 2 minutes left. I think it was J-Dub. He got the and one. And I'm like, damn. I cut it down to 17, if I'm not mistaken, because it was up 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, all right, 2 minutes left. He cut it to 17. If OKC can get this to 10, that's scary for Indiana because they have so much momentum going in, and we know how that momentum can shift so quick, so easy. I'm like, damn, if they drop this lead down before this half, I think that's gonna affect them. But it didn't. It didn't happen because OKC kept playing. Halliburton had that crazy steal to the pass to Siakam for that poster. That poster was crazy. Then Siakam hits the 2-pointer at the buzzer.
Siakam he's ridiculous, man. He's obviously if they win, he's the MVP.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been their best
disgusting,
player.
Bro. He's a great player. He's a great player. I think that it's almost like Boston where they're trying to make Halliburton so much the face. Because even while I listen to the commentators, you can kind of hear that's what they're hinting to. But realistically, Siakam's been the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you don't have no skin in the game, right? So
I do. I know hate Indiana.
You chose OKC. Okay,
I hate Indiana.
That's right.
I got skin in the game. Don't get me wrong. I think this is great for the game, but fuck Indiana.
I want Indiana to win.
If we keep it in the stack.
If Indiana wins, I bet there's a bet out there. I wonder if there's a bet out there. If Indiana wins, will Reggie Miller cry?
I saw this thing. If Indiana wins, is Halliburton the best player in their franchise's history?
No. Hell no. Which is another great conversation. The only reason why you put him there is what? The ring, right? Because he got the ring.
So
that's why.
Let's go there, man. So let's go there. The exact quote here, because I don't want to misquote Quan's favorite player. That wouldn't be right. So, on the topic of ring culture in the NBA, LeBron James says, it's like saying Peyton Manning can't be in the same room with Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes because he only has 2 rings. Or telling me that Dan Marino is not the greatest slinger of all time, but he can't be in the room with those guys because he didn't win a championship. They don't discuss those things. Did Barry Bonds win a World Series? I don't think so. You can't sit here and tell me that he's not the greatest baseball player to ever touch a bat. I just don't understand where it came from. I don't know where it started. I just hope that we just appreciate what more guys have been able to accomplish. He went on to say, you automatically dismiss people and their careers when you say, hey, he didn't win a ring. It's like, have you actually sat down and looked at this guy's career to see what he's accomplished? And he went on to talk about Jerry West winning 9 straight titles, but going to 9 straight finals and only winning 1 title. Yeah, he's the logo. And went to go talk about his co-host Steve Nash not winning a title, saying Steve Nash not great. So Quan, I want your thoughts, obviously, on what LeBron said. And is there any validity to that ring culture? And it's prevalent. It's too prevalent, and it shouldn't really be that much of a thing.
LeBron's soft, bro. LeBron is soft. Yo, first off, I don't think, here's a hot topic now. I don't think it discredits anything, the whole ring thing, right? I don't think it discredits it. That whole conversation of Manning not being in the room with Brady, why can't they be in the same room? We just know that Brady's at the fucking throne. That's the difference, right? And yes, the rings has a lot to do with it, but not all. Like, Brady, he just did something that was that will probably never happen again, if we're being honest, right?
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit, because he put up, when he said Iverson's name, I said to myself, I can't remember anybody discrediting how great Iverson was. In fact, I know somebody who thinks Iverson is better than LeBron. So then I said to myself,
that's a crazy take.
Iverson is better than LeBron. And I'm going to tell you why. The only better scorer by far, not even close, bigger heart of a champion. He didn't get one because he ran into Kobe and Shaq. But he brought a crazy-ass team to the finals, and, he did his thing. Now, he didn't have to, he ended up getting traded to Denver and all that shit, but that was towards the tail end of his career. And he wasn't seeking out partnering up with people. And that was another thing people keep talking about is how can LeBron say that? When LeBron said he wanted to go to Miami, or when he made that decision, what did he say on that stage? What was he chasing?
Not 1,
exactly.
Not 2,
exactly.
Not 3.
All right, so there's that. And the reason why I would say that Iverson is better than LeBron is not that off is because realistically, bro, LeBron is a freak athlete. His height, his weight, his structure, and he's a great passer. He's a great basketball player. I'll give him that too. But realistically, when it comes down to it, if I was to pick someone, I would probably pick Iverson over LeBron. Because I want someone with that heart and demeanor. Period. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. That's how I feel.
All right.
If he wasn't built the way he was, he'd be average at best.
So now he can't change that. He can't change.
Okay, and that's fine. That's fine. You know what else he can't change? 4 and 6 in the finals. That's what he can't change. Actually, he can't. He could go back and lose again.
Win or lose, right?
Shit. He's not winning shit, bro.
Here's Allen Iverson is not in the same.
Yeah, because you wasn't watching ball like that when Iverson was balling.
I was a youth when
I'm telling you.
Iverson could have been
disgusting.
I'm not saying Iverson wasn't disgusting, but LeBron is also disgusting, has been disgusting, and still kind of is. In year what, 21, 22?
He's not.
Yeah, if he's still killing people with that weak ass move, looking at the ball, bro.
Mine is 55.
Anyways,
yeah, I don't like that. Let's talk.
So yeah, the Iverson discussion, it doesn't make any sense. That one doesn't make any sense to me. But the ring culture thing from LeBron's side doesn't make sense, and here's why. Right, number one, ring culture is just as prevalent in the NFL when you're talking about quarterbacks and coaches. Right? When did Brady become the GOAT in the majority consensus? When he won his 5th, right? When he passed Montana.
Yeah.
Then they were like, and I think was the 5th the 28-3 comeback? Was that his 5th win, or is the 5th on the Seattle one?
No, it was the 28-3.
Yeah, because then he beat the Rams and then beat the Bucks.
No, he beat the Chiefs.
He was a Buck, then beat the Chiefs. So, but ring culture is extremely prevalent in the NFL when it comes to quarterbacks.
I think it's prevalent to majority of team sports, bro.
It's not prevalent in baseball. It's not prevalent in baseball.
No, not baseball. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'm just saying teams. Well, they're playing for chips, bro.
They're playing. No, they're
It's
playing
not
for
as
chips.
prevalent. It's
Yeah,
not as prevalent.
they're not
Because if
playing
you're
for-
a dominant
yeah.
baseball player, I get you.
That doesn't. Yeah, because you could be hit 500. They could just intentionally walk you every
what's the
single
goal?
time.
Every year, what's the goal?
I agree with that. The goal is to win the championship. The reason why I don't agree with LeBron's ring culture thing is no one's saying that you not having a ring means you weren't great individually. No one's saying that.
Yeah, who said that? He's saying that.
But
He's saying that. If anybody's saying that, he's saying that.
But if you think about it, if you just, I'm gonna have you a question. How many players in your all-time top 10, top 15 NBA, NBA players, how many there don't have a championship, if any? Probably none.
Probably none.
Right. But that's because, so you can put up these incredible stats, but there is something that having a ring does for you. It helps you crack some of those discussions. But so the thing is, you can't throw rings away when you're talking about your top 10, top 15, especially if you're in a conversation of being the greatest of all time, like LeBron is, right, in the national media. Rings have to matter. They have to have some kind of weight. And what's crazy is he said that, basketball is a team sport. But then I think there was something when they won that series against the Warriors when they were down 3-1, like this was like, I think he said something like around like this was like the greatest accomplishment.
Made him the GOAT.
Yeah. That exactly.
I remember.
And so it's like, which one is it? Because if it's a team sport, then how does that make you go?
He's a flip. Yo, he is.
So here's the thing. In basketball, it should be about ring culture because one player can have so much impact on winning more than any other sport. More than any other sport. Because you play both sides of the ball. You have more impact on winning as a basketball player than you do in any other sport. Even more than a quarterback. When you're the super of superstars. Like Jordan, like LeBron, like how we see Jokic right now, like Giannis right now, right?
Brunson.
Right. You have just such an impact more than any other sport on winning. So, yeah, I think it's a bad take from him. But at the end of the day...
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think LeBron said that? Realistically, why do you think he said that?
Because he's trying to get more people to think that he's the GOAT. Also, Steve Nash is his co-host. So he's trying to make Steve feel good at the same time. Yeah. Because Steve didn't win.
I think it's both. But nah, fuck that. What are you talking about? And I'm highly disagreeing with this because I don't want the future LeBron or whoever to think that that's okay to not win a ring. It's not.
I mean, again, it just depends on what you want from your career. If you want to be ranked on the Mount Rushmore of greats in NBA history, then you gotta win rings. You have to. And that just is what it is. It's not everything, right? It's not the only thing. Rings are not the only thing in the Jordan and LeBron debate. And if anybody's just throwing out, hey, it's the rings. He has 6, he's never lost. Then that's a shitty argument. There needs to be more. Like the rings have weight, but there's a bunch of things why we would take Jordan over Bron, right? The killer instinct.
I was just about to say, we talked about many other things and why we feel Jordan is better.
I mean, LeBron was a great defender, but Jordan was an incredible, incredible defender. Multiple-time all-defensive player. Multiple-time league MVP. Multiple-time, 6-time finals MVP. He showed up he showed up exactly when it mattered all the time. Now, LeBron's been great in the playoffs, but he's had a couple ghosts. Namely, Jordan never had, whenever he won he won every finals he played in. But Jordan never had a Dallas Mavericks series like LeBron did. And that's gonna stain you.
And it wasn't even just that one. It was the one with the cramp he caught, and he was crying about that.
Well, yeah.
Yo, I can't. I'm not getting into this. I don't know why I entertain this guy sometimes, huh? But that's a dumbass comment to try and promote yourself to be okay. All the rings don't matter. Get the fuck out of here.
I think what it did was just validate a lot of people's feelings about like how competitive is this guy really? Like when we talk about that killer instinct, that competitive fire that we saw at Jordan, we saw at Kobe, right? Like when you hear something like that, Kobe would have never said that. Right? Jordan would have never. Nah. Listen, I'm not saying LeBron can't say whatever the fuck he wants, because he can. But you have to realize that when you say certain things, and he doesn't give a shit what we think. That's the beauty of it, right? He doesn't give a fuck. But you have to realize that now that's another data point you just gave somebody. Like, no, bro, no one said anything for you. You said it yourself.
Yeah.
And at that point, when I heard it, I was
That's like when he had that comment, it's just basketball.
well, that one was a little different for me.
No. We could move on. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You been on the Peloton?
He hates talking about LeBron, bro.
No, I don't hate it. It's just, it gets to the point where it's like, it is what it is with this guy. People who love him, you can't change their minds. People who don't, you just don't. For whatever reasons.
But I think you could I wouldn't say love LeBron. You could enjoy what he does on the court and not think that he's the GOAT.
I don't enjoy watching him flop and act like a baby on the court. I don't enjoy that. That stands out to me. I don't know why it doesn't to you, but it does to me. Somebody said if they put a Lakers
That's how the game is
statue up,
played, bro.
Fuck that. That is not how the game is played.
That's not how the game is played?
That is not how the game is played.
That's
why they just talked about. That's why people, like a lot of, this is an NBA player that said this. A lot of NBA players respect Steph because he doesn't do that shit. He doesn't go around flopping and crying the whole fucking time. Why? Just get back and play.
Every possession, we watched it. Somebody's barking at the refs, going down the court. Every possession.
Barking at the refs and doing all that extra.
And going like this.
Extra dramatic shit is not what happens every time, bro. This guy jumping up and down like a fucking toddler who took their candy away is crazy.
I remember that. That's the Celtics game. That was the game where Pat brought the camera out.
Yep.
That one was extra. He got fouled. I didn't know bullshit. He got fouled, but that's an all-time moment. I appreciate everybody tuning in if you made it this far. Quick reminder, if you're not subscribed already, please do us the favor and do so. Check the description for all the awesome links. Of course, shout out to our guys again, Kareem, Brown Skills Academy, Fanatics. And as always, think critically, speak infamously. Love.
Love.